Hi, this is Anne from Design Bundles, and today I'm going to show you how to use symbols to easily update your graphics in Adobe Illustrator. All right, let's get started. Okay, we're in Illustrator now, and we'll come over here to Create New. I'm going to go up here to Print, and then we'll choose Letter, and then we'll create. Okay, so one thing to note is that you should create your graphics knowing that you'll use symbols later on. And so you should have symbols in your original graphic. So if you create your symbols from the start, it will make it much easier. So I have saved a tree vector that I drew with my iPad, and I'm just going to open that now. So my end goal here is to make a lot of different leaves on this tree, and then later we'll change them all to something else. So first I need to draw my leaf. So I'll hit P on my keyboard, which will take me to my pen tool over here. I'm going to click, and then I'm going to come down here and just click and drag. I want the leaf to be a little wider across the bottom. So that looks about right. I'll let off, and then I'll click on that last point and then come up to the top to close the shape. Now it's pretty obvious I only drew half of the leaf, so I'm going to select that with my V tool, which is my selection tool. I'm going to Command C to copy, Command F to paste in front. That's Control F on a PC. And so now I have two copies, one right in front of the other. And now I'll hit O, which will bring me to this tool. This is the Reflect tool, and you can see a little anchor point right here. And to change this anchor point, we have to hold Option. So I'll click there holding Option or Alt on a PC, and then we'll get our Reflect dialog box. I want a vertical reflect, so we'll say OK. And now we have our two pieces of our leaf. I'm going to zoom in here by hitting Z on my keyboard and just draw a box around this. And then I'm going to hit Command Y, Control Y on a PC to see what we have. Okay, those look very well lined up. If they're not, you can use your A tool, which is your direct selection, and just select both of those points and then do Option Command J. That's Control Alt J on a PC, and that'll bring up average. You'll want to choose both, and I'll show you where to find this up here in your menus. So we'll choose both and say OK. So to find that here, you can go to Object, Path, and Average. I just like to use keyboard shortcuts because it makes it so much faster. Okay, let's hit our space bar, and we'll move down here to the bottom. And if yours aren't lined up, you can do that same thing. Select the 2 points and then average them with Object, Path, and Average. Our two halves are completely lined up, and now we'll use the Pathfinder. If you don't have the Pathfinder window open, you can go to Window and Pathfinder here. But mine is already open, so I'm going to come to the shape modes, and I'll choose the first one to combine these. And that will make them one piece. All right, let's hit Command Y or Control Y again to get back to the regular view. All right, so this is already green, but if it wasn't, if it was just no fill and no shape, you could come over here to your fill and then open up color. It's under Window Color also, and then you can just click a different color if you like. Okay, I'm going to use my spacebar to move down a little bit on the screen. I also want to get my symbols palette up. So let's go to Window, Symbols. And that will bring up this palette. You might have some other symbols in here, but you can just get rid of those by coming to the flyout, selecting all unused, and then just deleting those because we want to make a new symbol now. To make a new symbol, all we have to do is get our selection tool, click this one, and drag it into Symbols. Then we get a Symbol Options dialog box. So I usually don't name a new symbol. I just leave it as whatever, and that's fine. And then the export type will be graphic. Dynamic symbols are kind of nice because you can change the colors, but I really only want one color right now, so I'm going to choose static symbol. And then we'll say OK. And you can see it put a little image of the symbol into the symbols window. Okay, and now all I have to do, I'm going to command minus to zoom out. That's control minus on a PC. I'm going to add a lot of these leaf symbols to our tree. An easy way to tell that it's a symbol, it usually has a different looking bounding box around it. So this is kind of nice because you can still make changes to the symbol. You can get on a corner of the bounding box, hold shift, and resize. You can rotate by getting your cursor near a middle handle and then just rotate it around like this. You can also hit R on your keyboard to get to the rotate tool and use that to do the same thing. Okay, so now I'm going to option and drag this one. I'm going to make that a little bit smaller and we'll rotate a little bit. You can also use your arrow keys to position it how you want. Hold option and make another copy of the symbol. And now I'm going to fill up this whole tree with a lot of different symbols. Some bigger, some rotated, some a little smaller. And I'm just going to speed the video up because I'm sure that will be very boring for you. But you can see what I'm trying to do. Use the same shape to make a lot of different copies. I generally like to have the smaller ones out near the edge of the tree, and then we'll have the bigger ones in towards the center of a tree. These in here look a little bit too big, so I'm going to reduce the size, maybe add some smaller ones in there. Okay, so we have all the symbols in our tree now, and it looks great, but what if we want to change these symbols a little bit? Maybe we wanted to add a center line to that leaf shape. So the way to do this is to drag the symbol out of the symbols palette. So you have to get right on the picture of it and click and drag it onto your artboard. And then you'll need to expand it. So we'll come up here to Object, Expand. We'll expand both the object and the fill and say OK. And now we have something we can work with. Now I want to mention that it might be a good idea to save a copy of this so you have that original symbol and it's all linked together nicely. So if you want to completely change your graphic, always save a copy. Okay, I'm going to hit Z on my keyboard to get to my zoom tool, and we'll just come in here and draw a box around our leaf. Now I'm going to hit P to get my pen tool, which is right up here. And I'm just going to draw a little line right up here through the center. I'm going to hit D on my keyboard to get a white fill and a black outline. And then I'm going to hit the backslash key or the question mark key on your keyboard to clear the fill. So I only have a stroke. You can also use this little none right down here. Okay, and now I want this to kind of be thin here and then real thick down here. So I'm going to hit Shift W. That'll give us our width tool. So now we can click right at the very bottom node and just pull it out like this. And we can click on this node and pull it in like this. So now we have a nice flowing shape here. Now this is just a stroke right now, and it has a stroke profile on it. So we'll need to expand this. So let's go up to Object, Expand Appearance. Okay, so now I want to cut this out of the green shape. I'm going to select the black. This is with my selection tool. And then we'll also hold Shift and get the green shape. Now I'll use my Shape Builder tool, which we can get to by hitting Shift M. And that is right over here on the toolbar. And we can hold Option and just drag through the black areas to cut those out of the shape. Okay, and that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to command minus so I can see everything that's going on. And I'm going to click on this. Oh, before we do that, why don't we change the color a little bit? Let's double click on our color and make it a more yellowy green. There we go. And now we can replace our symbol by hitting V on the keyboard to get to our selection tool, clicking on it, and then holding Option on a Mac and Alt on a PC, coming over and dragging right on top of the picture on our symbols window. And now it's updated that entire thing. Now you can get really creative with this, so let's try a heart. Usually when I replace symbols, I want to make sure they're the same kind of height and width. Otherwise, they're going to be reaching out into areas that we don't want. I'm going to hit P on my keyboard to get to my pen tool, and then I'll just draw half of a heart. Clicking, click and drag, and then finish off half of the heart like this. I'm going to hit V to get my selection tool. I'll copy, and then I'll paste in front with Command F or Control F on a PC. I'll hit O to get to my reflect tool, and then I'll Option click right on that line. We'll do a vertical reflect. And now I'm going to kind of put this on top of our other shape to make sure we have the width and the height about the same. And I'll come down to my Pathfinder and unite these. Now if those don't unite, you probably don't have your points lined up, and you can do that in the way that I showed earlier in the video. Okay, now I'm going to double click on the color and we'll change this to red. We'll say OK. Okay, we'll see how it looks when we replace it like this. I'm going to hit V on my keyboard and then drag and hold Option or Alt on a PC. Okay, and now we've got a red hearts tree. So you can really kind of see all the possibilities when it comes to using symbols. All right, I hope you can see that using symbols can really help save you a lot of time in Adobe Illustrator. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, just hit the subscribe button and you'll be updated every time a new video is released. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.